Tony's going to be one of the sponsors of Rush Outdoors this year, so we want to thank him for his business. You guys get a chance, make sure you check out Hammer Bow Hangers online. I'll be putting up the web link and everything for you guys to check out a little bit later. But right now, Tony and I are going to talk about antler growth.
Yes.
And his own personal deer. Being a taxidermist, you got a buck here.
Right. I've had 2 bucks.
Yeah.
And one of them's been gone for 2 years now. He was 12 years old.
Yep.
And we still have one left, and in May he'll be 15 years old.
15 years old.
In 2015.
Yep.
And just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about this whole antler thing.
Yeah.
And everybody thinking that every time they let a deer go, that the next year he's going to jump like a huge bunch of size. And it's not always true. Yes, it can be.
Oh, yeah.
But as a rule, a lot of them, once they're probably 4 years old or so, they're 5, that's it.
Yeah, and if you know, I mean, in southern Wisconsin, we can't put mineral out or anything like that because it's illegal. Yeah. So that does have a lot to do with it also. I mean, I know when we were able to use mineral, I mean, you would see big jumps in antler growth over the 3 to 4 to 5 year old range, 6 even. But
I still believe the number one is genetics.
Oh yeah,
plain and simple. There's flat down. That's it. I mean, genetics is. If your deer doesn't have it, these deer have had all the best food.
Right.
And believe me, I tried to see what I could get out of them in a pen there. And we can show you. This is
1.5 years.
That's his 1.5 year rack. That's what he had.
The big one.
Yeah, he's a big one there. You know.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them are pretty close to the same size. Now this right here, this would be his 5th year. He's a 5.5 year old buck here. You know, and as you can see, we've got 2 different sets here. Now that one there, that deer there is 12 years old. Yeah. And look at the similarities. I was going to say, I can hold this though and you can hold down. And that's, you know, that deer from 5.5 to, you know, 12.5. How much difference is there?
That's
your
a set.
G2s, you know.
7 year difference.
Yeah.
And score is probably
not much different.
15 inches.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it goes to show you that, you know, it's just, and my other buck in the pen was the same way.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I remember him.
And this one here, this is, let me see, here he's
13.5.
13.5, so he's a year after that one.
Right.
And if you notice, he had this little
Triple
cool stuff going on there,
yeah.
But he doesn't, now this year he doesn't.
Yeah. And we're going to go out and meet Ren,
yeah,
right?
His name is Ren.
We'll meet him in a little bit. But basically what we're trying to say is that, you know, when you guys are letting deer go all the time, they're not necessarily going to get bigger. A lot of it has to do with the weather that year, how the winter was on them and things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And Tony being a taxidermist, we were just talking earlier, here in Wisconsin we had to deal with a lot of EHD. There's some CWD rules.
Yep.
And we were talking how some of the bodies of the deer this year were bigger, but the racks,
our average size, we had a lot of nice bucks, but the average size, I think, was lower this year.
Yeah.
But we had a long winter.
Right.
Very cold conditions.
Yeah, and antler growth.
And a real slow spring.
Yep.
So you figure they were already trying to, you know, put their valving on, and they didn't have the feed yet.
Yeah, there wasn't the food out there for them to do that.
They suffered a lot from that.
So, and I mean, we're not saying don't just shoot, you know, shoot whatever you want.
Exactly.
But
don't always believe, don't be afraid to look back through your camera pictures if you got them.
Oh yeah.
And you might all of a sudden go, wait a minute, that's that same buck.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't change from year to year, it's the same deer. Well, that's the one you might want to take out.
I think there's been years, well, I mean, between you and I, we probably got, I don't know, 100,000 pictures probably, I don't know. And I mean, when you're looking at deer, and we were just looking at some earlier, and I might be able to show you some of mine on the film here, but we weren't getting a lot of jump with the last 2 years between the 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds.
Right.
And now all of a sudden it seemed like last year EHD hit here real bad. Tony found a bunch of deer already this year that are dead. And we had one buck that actually was bedding on a landowner's front porch because the coyotes wouldn't come up there, and he was pretty bad off. I mean, we got a lot of pictures of him up there. But he spent dang near a whole month up near the house, being able to feed around the house, and he
sounds pretty hard to believe, doesn't it?
But they're smart. They're definitely smart. So
yeah.
But we're gonna check that out. We're gonna go meet Ren here shortly, and we'll go from there.
This is another thing that, you know, you can tell people, you know, even what I tell people that all the time when I have the deer here is when I come in the pen here, they know me, They don't walk up to me until they circle around downwind of me, every time. That goes to show you why when you use a decoy, you always set the decoy so the deer comes to the downwind side of it. And then I start watching the deer in the wild, and they do the same thing. When they walk out into a field, if they're not downwind of those other deer, they walk around downwind of them. It is really is, you know? Come on, buddy. Well, come on.
I think the camera's...
I didn't feed him yet today. I did that on purpose, you know?
Yeah.
Come on, Ren, buddy. Come on. I wonder if he's got food in us. He'll come down here.
Yeah, here he comes.
Yeah, if I'm working in the pen here and I'm walking around, he'll follow me wherever I go. Come on, buddy. Come on. The shedding time on these deer, I've always written down the same days that I find their sheds. And they're anywhere from, February 20th seems to be most of the, he's within 3 days for the last few years, but they've also shed as late as like the first week of March. But you'll find out that a lot of deer shed within that a week's time, a couple of weeks of what they, depending upon how tough a year they're having. But that's another comparison there. Now this deer, look at the stickers he's got coming out of the back. Now he's never had those, so you never know for sure what they're going to do. But I don't think too many deer make it to 15 in the wild. But last year he shed on February 20th, I think it was.
He's probably getting pretty loose now.
Yeah. I should have filmed it a few years back. He actually shed, and I picked one of his sheds up in here, and I was standing here holding it, and he came walking up to me, and I held it out towards him, and he was sniffing it, and I took it and I tapped his other side, and the other side fell off. And he turned and ran away, you know, and I was like, well, god dang it, I should have filmed that. That would have been kind of neat, you know. He didn't think it was so neat. I don't think he liked it much, but I mean, for taxidermy purposes, even, you know, I get so many great reference photos from this deer, and
yeah,
you know, you can walk out here and see many times. Look at his ear positions, you know, and how he rotates those ears. Those ears rotate like they're on a pivot if you watch a deer.
Oh yeah.
And when you look at a deer mount and the ear doesn't look like it's rotated, it's not right, you know. All you got to do is just like your wrist, just think about rotating it. That's all you got to do when you set your ears, and make sure that you stick to that. You can't have a deer with its ears forward and facing towards the ground. It don't work that way. They won't face the ground until they rotate back.
Yep.
Then they'll face the ground. But when they're forward, they're forward. That doesn't change. I've seen a lot of deer where they actually have the ears almost straight out and they're facing down. It's like, nope, can't do that. You can see on his back there,
Yeah.
that's where he rubs doing lick branches and stuff.
Oh yeah?
Yep, a lot of people wonder what that is on their capes. When you get on top of their shoulders there, he scratches his back all the time.
Yeah.
And when they do a lick branch and they kick their head back, their back tines, a tall tine buck usually will have a pretty good bald spot on his back.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I know that. I've shot a few that are completely bald.
Yep.
Old Scarback. You know, we thought it was because he was bedding underneath something, but it's because that's what he was using his tines to give his back.
Yeah, it would be his dad down in Illinois is where I got him from.
Yeah.
His dad would literally wear a patch off on his back that was totally gone, all his hair, like the size of a basketball.
Coming downwind.
That's my buddy.
Yeah. He's what, you said 15 years old?
He'll
now?
be 15 in May.
Yeah.
And I bottle fed this deer when he was a fawn.
Yep.
I mean, I raised him up. And I had another buck too, but he's been gone for 2 years, and they were the same age.
Right.
They were half brothers, but pretty cool pets to have. But you learn a lot from watching them, a real lot. You know, how they do things, and like we were discussing how even in the pen here, they don't like to walk up to you until they circle downwind.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't even matter that he knows me, so that's something to remember in the woods if you're hunting with a decoy.
Oh yeah.
How important that is.
And that's, I mean, you see people say it all the time, and that's definitely the truth.
It's the truth.
And but if you can actually be around and watch their habits, it's definitely cool.
It is cool.
I mean, filming and stuff here at Rush Outdoors, we see a lot of things. A lot of guys don't have a lot of time to, get in the woods as much as we do. But being this close to him is definitely cool. So thanks for inviting us up. Appreciate it.
Yep, I've enjoyed him for a lot of years.
Hopefully he'll be around for another couple of years. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean,
15
is pretty old, but this winter's been good to him.
Yeah.
For our winters, really.
Yeah, it hasn't really. It was cold in November.
Yeah.
In December there a little bit.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, here at the end of the show, we're going to show Archery Shooter Systems, one of the new sponsors for Rush Outdoors. We'll get Tony's contacts and everything out like that, his webpage, phone numbers you'll be able to reach him at. Also, if you guys need any really good taxidermy, Tony's national renowned taxidermist. Did all the muzzy bucks.
Sure did. Yeah.
Full body mount muzzy bucks.
Muzzy 200 Club is what it was called.
Yeah. How many did you do?
13.
13 bucks over 200 inches, full body mounts, all of them, right?
No, 6 of them were full body mounts, and the other 7 were pedestal mounts. But they were all 200 plus bucks, all taken by your everyday average Joe hunters.
Yeah.
No pen hunts. It was regular guys.
Yeah, all fair chase hunting. So.
Yeah, all fair chase.
But well, thanks, Tony. Appreciate it. Be sure to check out Archery Shooter Systems.